Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that might be a little sensitive to some of you. It's all about my breast reduction and why I chose to get it, how recovery was, details about my breast reduction. So if you don't want to watch it, I totally understand. We'll catch you in the next one because I've got other videos planned, including one about this little kitty cat, Calypso. Anyways, so we are going to be talking about my breast reduction and why that became an issue for me. So when I was 13, I had really big breasts and I hated it so much. Like, I was bigger than the other girls at school. I was a double D at 13, and then I think I went up to a G cup. By the time I got married, I was either an H or an I don't remember which, and it was an issue for my bridal shower because nobody could find lingerie in that size. But that's okay. It all worked out. It's fine. But after I had my daughter and breastfeeding and everything, I went up to a size J. I was a 38J, and they hurt my back. It was terrible. But while I was breastfeeding, towards the end, I was trying to make it to 2 years. That was my goal. But when she was 1.5 years old, I started getting this just excruciating pain in my right breast. And it was terrible. And so I went to my doctor and I was like, I'm gonna wean her. Like, I can't do this anymore. She was like, okay, let's try that and see if it works. Didn't work. So then she was feeling it. She was like, I think it's a clogged milk duct, but just to be sure, I'm gonna send you to get an ultrasound. So I went and got an ultrasound. And while I was in there, they were like, ooh, we actually see something. We need you to go across the hall and get a mammogram. Which freaked me out because there I was, how old was I? 23, 24, getting a mammogram, and they had seen something, so I was totally freaked out. They said they saw a tumor. They thought it was benign, but, keep an eye on it. Well, that wasn't good enough for me because I was freaked out. So I went on my own to find a breast specialist, and she agreed to do a biopsy because of the family history of breast cancer. So we did the biopsy, which, oh my goodness, if you've ever had a breast biopsy, those are intense. You have like these little divots in your breast tissue for weeks. And you get all bruised. That was a rough experience. I did not like it, but it came back. It was benign. But because it was bothering me so bad, that specialist told me that I could go ahead and get that removed. And I was all for it. And I was like, I've always kind of wanted a breast reduction. Can we remove it and do a breast reduction? She said yes, but insurance said no. I had to figure out how to get the reduction done. So I met with a plastic surgeon who told me that I needed to get physical therapy done first. So I went to physical therapy. The physical therapist told me straight out of the gate, he's like, unless you have that gone, physical therapy is not going to do anything. But he agreed to go ahead and help me through the physical therapy process, and he would recommend that it got done because they were so big. Anyway, so finally, after the physical therapy and all that stuff, I was able to go to the physical therapist and get evaluated again and get recommended for a breast reduction. Now, I should have known that when you're dealing with insurance, you know that you don't have a lot of choices as to what exactly you're going to be getting. So when I was talking with this doctor, she was like, now I'm old school because I had looked into breast reductions. Like I said, I had wanted a breast reduction since I was 13. So I had looked into it before, and I knew that there were two ways that they could do it. She told me that she was old school. And I was a little wary of that. I knew that that meant the anchor. So they cut down from your areola and then they go underneath your breast and remove tissue and fat. And I wasn't thrilled with the idea of that surgery, but I was like, she's got good reviews. My friends had all recommended her that had had plastic surgeries. And I was like, what? It'll probably be fine. At least insurance has agreed to cover her. So that's what I went with. And it was scheduled for the summer. So it was after my sister's wedding. So I had to go to my sister's wedding. I was her matron of honor. And I still had these huge boobs. I wished. But this one felt so much different, and it was a much longer surgery. So I woke up, I had a catheter in. It was just, ugh. I did not like it. And I remember before, they were like giving me injections before they put me out, and it hurt so much. Like they were just giving me so many shots, like all in my shoulders, my back, everywhere. Ugh, I hated it. Anyways, so be prepared for that if a breast reduction is something you want to do, because it gets intense. Anyway, so when I woke up and I had the catheter in, that was probably the most uncomfortable thing. I hate catheters with a passion. But I stayed in the hospital for one night and I was so ready to just be home. But I stayed with my mom and dad for about a week, I think, because just so my mom could help me with stuff. I wasn't allowed to lift my arms above my head or anything like that. I wasn't allowed to pick anything up. So my daughter she wasn't even quite 4 at the time. So I needed help with her and everything. So I stayed with my mom and dad. So we could get all the care that I needed. I just rested. It was fine. I didn't like it. I would rather be at home recovering in my comfy house, but it was fine. So after that, the recovery, you're bandaged up. So you're in this bra, you've got bandages on, and you have drains. I had drains coming out from under my armpits, and those were super uncomfortable. You had to drain them every couple hours, and it just wasn't a good time. I'm just going to say breast reduction recovery is not fun. You have tubes coming out of you, we're all bandaged up, you can't move. It was a lot. But the payoff is decent. My back does not hurt nearly as bad as it used to. I mean, I was all hunched over. I gained a 1/2 inch height by just being able to sit up taller. I mean, I'm still kind of hunched because my posture, I think, is forever ruined from them. But I gained a 1/2 inch in height because they were dragging me down. So anyways, so a little bit about what they did. So they cut off your nipple and areola. It's weird. The thought of that happening, it just, ugh. And then they go down and they do the anchor, like I said. Well, she put one really high up and the other one really low down. So they're kind of wonky now, and I don't like that. And the sensations around them are so strange sometimes. I don't think my nerves have fully healed. Like my C-section scar, I still have like some numbness and tingling in certain parts of my abdomen, but it's similar with my breasts as well. So just so you know, your boobs will never be the same after you have a breast reduction, unless you have like a really good surgeon. I've thought about getting it redone. I have to get mammograms every year because of the tumor that grows, and one of the nurses or techs, I'm sorry, I don't know which one's which, but she told me that I should look into getting it redone because she said it was not the best breast reduction she'd seen. So that might be something we look into in the future when we have a little bit of money set aside, if that ever happens. But all in all, I would do it again. Just having that relief off my shoulders, off my back, it was worth it. And I love the fact that I'm able to wear clothes now. Because beforehand, it was always like, this would fit me if I didn't have these giant breasts in the way. So I can wear t-shirts now that fit me just fine. And that is so nice. I remember the first time I put on a graphic tee, I was like, I can actually read all the words. So it was very nice being able to do that. And I mean, fortunately, my husband's had a car. He has no problem with it. But yeah, it was an experience, to say the least. So definitely don't just rush into it. Like I said, this had been, 12 years in the making almost. But I wouldn't say I'm like happy with the results, but I am glad for those things. Like I said, they're smaller, I can wear clothes, my back isn't constantly killing me, and that's nice. The overall look of them, I'm not the biggest fan of. Like I said, they're very wonky looking. The scar tissue is weird. Also, they go all the way around your side. So I have scar tissue all the way past my armpit, like towards my back right here, and it comes on this way from both sides. So that can get weird too. And if you've ever had surgery and you know how scar tissue is, like, you can have these like phantom itches that you can't get rid of. So those drive me crazy, but I know that's kind of just part of it. So anyways, I hope that this video was informative. If you're looking at getting a breast reduction anytime soon, any kind of breast augmentation is going to have some kind of caveat with it. They're not going to be perfect. No boobs are perfect anyways. But it is a big change from going to have natural breasts to ones that have been discombobulated. So anyways, like I said, I hope this was informative. And like I said earlier, we're going to have a lot of different videos coming up. I got a couple more health related ones. I'm starting on a weight loss journey and I've already lost a little bit. So hopefully it continues down that path. We're going to talk about the latest pets that we've added to our family. And I'm also going to do a book review because I did a 2024 reading goal thing. So look forward to those coming out. Hope you enjoyed watching.